everyone, it's Nat here. I am working on the cover for my design team project, which is going to be a soft cover Christmas journal. So I want to cover this envelope in fabric. Now the envelope is a little big for the size I want, so I am going to cut it down a little. So I want it to be just a little bigger than this bit of cardstock. So I'll just grab my pencil and I'll just make some marks. I'll leave a little margin. We want it to be about there, and then we want it to be about there over that side. So I'll just trim that off. Having a busy day today trying to get a whole lot of stuff done. Now this is the guillotine that I grabbed from Aldi, and it's actually not too bad. I'm figuring it out slowly. So I like to do it through this way so I can see where the mark is that I made. Although I won't know if I have it straight enough then, so I might do it the other way. As you can see, I'm still trying to figure it all out. Alright, so we want it about there. I find if I keep it right against the edge, it doesn't cut the little corner down here off very cleanly. So I sort of get it where I get it straight and then move it up just a little bit. That looks alright. And then we want to cut that little bit off. Right about there. Just make sure it's straight again. That looks alright. Now, hopefully won't need that again at this stage. Just double check that it looks alright. Yeah, that's not too bad. Alright, now next, I've got this lovely, I don't know if you call it plaid fabric stuff. It's quite thin, so I usually use fabric glue, but it does show through if you're not careful. So I thought this time I'm going to Mod Podge and see how we go. Just cutting off some of the little frayed bits so they don't annoy me. Need to get some of that fray check. I'm not sure if we have anything like that in Australia, so if any of you know what's good to use. I know you could just paint glue on the edges or whatever, but I see Gail all the time using fray check, so it'd be good to find something like that here. And just figure out which side I want. Oh, that's quite difficult because I think I'll keep that side. Alright, so I'll put that up there for the moment. I'll bring it down when we're ready for it. So I'm just going to paint this actually first. I am going to stick it down with my fabric glue because that'd be quick and easy. Just stick the opening down and where we've cut it, which I nearly forgot to do. You can tell I'm new at this. Down, and then the edge that we cut it on, I'll just run some glue along the inside edges. And this one. I'll just hold it together a bit more. Alright, now what I used, because I couldn't find a paintbrush that was sort of big enough to do this, because I sort of want to work pretty quickly with this, I use one of these foam brushes. And I just have a cup of water near me. Now this is the Mod Podge that if you watched my last haul, I got it for $2 from the second-hand shop. Well, I cracked that open and it is beautiful, so it definitely was worth me grabbing it. So I just used the tip of my brush, get a whole lot and splodge it over. I'll try and get it all in the middle, and then like concentrate on the edges last again so that they hold. But any bits that don't hold I can go around with afterwards and add a bit extra if I need to, which I'm sure I will. Now I'll just make sure that I haven't got any thick bits anywhere. That should do. Now I'll grab our fabric and we're just going to lie on top. Actually, the way I was meant to be doing it, I'll just turn this over. I was laying the fabric down. It's got a bit of a crease in, so I have to make sure that stays up. Now I'm going to try and get it somewhat straight, which is good with this fabric because of the lines, but it stretches out of whack a bit, so I have to be quite careful. That looks like it's out a bit there. That's not too bad. We'll have to see what the front's like. So I have this roller. I have no idea what this roller is for, but I'm going to use it. I have a soft roller somewhere, I just can't find it, so I'm going to use this one for the moment. Just to try and make sure there's good contact. Now I'll check it hasn't got too many creases. There's a bit of one there, we'll try and get that out. Just got to be careful, it warps the fabric a bit when you do that. That's not too bad by the looks. A little bit warped there, but it's not too bad. I am going to stick a picture on the front, so it doesn't matter too much. But I did make one just before, and you can see it's not straight, and I don't like it. Even if I stick stuff over it, it will be better, and I will use it probably for a personal journal or something, but I thought I'll give it a go again and see if I can get a little bit straighter. So hopefully this will be a bit straighter. Alright. It's looking alright. I reckon I'll need to do the corners a bit more, which we will in a minute. But I'm just going to let it dry just for a minute while I show you some of the pages. Now I've learnt the lesson to put greaseproof paper on your Mod Podge before you put the lid on, because I didn't do that with my last pot, and yeah, it takes a lot of muscles to try and get the lid off. So alright, so as I said, this is the cover that I tried to do before, and I've started organising some of my pages. So it's going to have probably a bit of cardstock, and then I have been painting some pages here, red and green. I'll just take that out. So I'll show you those. I've just painted one side of them, and I did these with acrylic paint. I just poured a tiny bit of acrylic paint, like a good dob of maybe a teaspoon or half a teaspoon dob, into the bottom of a jar, and then filled it up with about an inch of warm water and just mixed it around. And I used the foam brush again to paint the paint on. I didn't do the other side because it actually shows through a bit, and I quite like that for if you want to write on it or something. So I just did the one side of those, and I got the red and green. I just used really cheap acrylic for that too. And I've also been playing around with my pump sprays, my gold pump spray from Kmart, and done a doily over the top of the paper, which is a really nice effect. So I thought make this journal like the green and red and gold, and probably a few tea dyed papers, which I still have to organise for it. Just whack that back in there. So it's coming along slowly. Alright, now we might check these corners. Actually, before we do that, we will cut off the excess here. Might be worth doing. I don't think it's too sticky for me to do that. I'll leave that down there. Now, I also bought myself the other day, if I can find it, I think it's fallen down in my little holder here, the rotary cutter. I'm so glad I got this. I did try it with the envelope and that, and I didn't really like it, but I don't know how I have survived without one of these for cutting fabric. It just makes life so much easier. So we'll just trim these sides off. But yeah, I can't believe how easy it is. It just goes straight through. So I'll be using this a lot. I think we'll do it about now. We'll be alright. So definitely a worthwhile investment for those of you who don't have one. Alright. So, I'll move this back out of the way. And when I've got it like this, we'll cut the corners. Just on a bit of an angle. Going to keep all the little offcuts for making my embellishments. So I hope you're all doing well. Been having a bit of a giggle on the Facebook groups today about all of our messy craft rooms and how we store all of our books. So that's been a bit of fun. I've had numerous people ask how I store all the books that I get in my book hauls, so I was waiting until I sort of organised them to show people, but I just keep getting more and it never gets organised, so I bit the bullet and put some photos up for everyone to have a bit of a laugh. But you know, we're pretty well all in the same boat, so I'd rather have a big mess of books in the house than other stuff, so. Alright, so that's the last corner trimmed. Now, before we stick those down, we're just going to check the corners and that up here. So I can't see any bits that have come through. There's some bits that possibly haven't stuck as well as I wanted, but that's not too bad. So, open my Mod Podge back up. Make sure, yeah, it's still on camera. Now, you can see that the corner a bit here is lifted, so just get a little bit on there and then go back over that. Try not to get too much on there. Press that down. A bit there. Still is like not properly stuck too, so if I pull it too much it's going to unstick a lot of it. So usually I'd let this dry completely before I do this and the inside, but because I'm on camera I thought I would just get it done. It should be alright. Now I just want to move this a bit so it's not so sticky up this end. A little bit there I'll clean off. There, that's a bit better. Alright, now we'll fold the edges in. Let's start with this edge. I don't know if this Mod Podge is different than the stuff I usually use, because the one I usually use says just paper, whereas this says fabric than tissue, which I assume means paper. So I don't know if they're a bit of a different makeup or what. This one does seem to work really well for the fabric covers if you don't want it showing through. A bit of string on there. Get that off. I am so new at using all these different things, so I find the best way to learn is to do it and learn from your mistakes, because I can ask people but I just don't remember what people say, and it's not until you try it you sort of really see what it's like. Just use my roller to push it down. Got that idea off of Susanna Easdale. She uses like a soft paint roller, which I do have one. I bought one ages ago. I don't know where I've put it, so, but for this little job what I'm using is all right. I'll go onto the fabric there, but I might need to reinforce it with some fabric glue as well. We will see. There. Tell you what, pets are annoying. Every time I do anything I find dog hair in it. Not looking too bad. A kink in it, this piece. Try not to pull it too hard, because if I pull it too hard it's going to ruin the straightness of it on the front, which I probably have there a bit. Though that's not looking too bad. It's a lot better than the other one. It's not perfect, but I think it'll do. I'm not worried about the straightness on the back, because of course I'll cover that with some paper or something, or fabric. Let's see. That's not too bad. Alright, now I'll cover up our Mod Podge for now. Didn't take me as long as I thought it would. I always have a cup of water. I've got a whole lot of these plastic cups. I've been using them lately as my cups to wipe, clean off my paintbrushes and that, and then I tip them out in the laundry and leave them on the windowsill to dry out and reuse them. I've just got to not knock them over onto my project. So yes, now I'll just trim. I should have tried to tuck that little corner bits in a bit more, but I'll probably just trim them off. It's looking alright actually. Let's just see what we can do. Just up here a bit. Better there. I wanted to recycle an envelope because this is a new one, but I've got a whole heap of envelopes that people have sent me that I have to get the stamps off of and things like that. So I think if I've got any good bits that aren't too wrinkly and that I'll keep them for doing this sort of thing. Just wipe this little bit of glue off there. So there's my cover. A little bit wrinkly, a little bit warped, but it's not. I think it's definitely straighter than that one. So, oh yeah, definite improvement. I like it when I can see an improvement in my work. So that I think I'll definitely use that one. And as I said, I will use this one. I'll just like stick some lace and stuff over the bottom so it's not so noticeable. So I might use that for a personal Christmas journal or something. So yes, I'm going to leave that flat. I might even leave it overnight and let it dry really, really well before I fold it and use it. But yeah, it'll be ready to put a cover in here and stick my signatures in. So get on with organising the rest of my signatures now. Actually, it's probably just going to be the one signature, but I do need the coffee dyed papers and yeah, figure out the order and see if there's any extras before I go sewing it in. And I might do some stenciling as well, because I did find a whole heap of Christmas stencils recently. So I thought I might do some stenciling on the back of the pages that I didn't cover with the paint. That'll look alright, I reckon. So yes, hopefully it's going to turn out alright, this one. So I hope you're all having a good night. I thought I'll just get on and share my conundrum of trying to do a straightish cover with everyone. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.